Yo, y'all don't wanna know. Fuck around and see it, cause you know I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Web3 breakfast, serving size like Texas. I'm a beast, yeah, baby. You know I'm reckless. We stacking blue chips, my people by the dip. Matte Black Lambo coming soon. Don't forget, sign the check.
Web3 breakfast. Fuck a Lexus, push a Maserati, keep a diamond Jesus on my necklace. I'm living reckless. Fuck a job, cash the check, grab the bag, hit the flight, we on the next one. Wife changing money, just ask my honey. Got a diamond on my face, I can't help it, I'm new money.
Web3 breakfast, wake and bake, appreciate the checklist, moderate the stage, perplexing everything you say, and not to mention, I think I rugged. Maybe I should shrug it off, go touch some grass, perhaps some plug.
Web3 breakfast,
Web3 breakfast.
Web3 breakfast. Boom, pow. Yo, GM fam. Everybody, hope you're doing all right. It is Thursday, Thirsty Thursday. I don't know what other expressions people use for Thursday other than, dang, we are almost through the week. We got to get through today, and then tomorrow is Friday, and we all know what Friday means. Pizza day. Pizza party, weekend vibes, all that stuff. We got Unstoppable Domains coming in tomorrow. Definitely excited to chat with them about all the things that they've been doing in this build market. I mean, it just feels like in the last couple months, it's announcement after announcement. So definitely excited to catch up with them tomorrow, but that's tomorrow. Today is today. Today is Thursday. Turbocito. GM fam, how are you?
Days, and it's just a good opportunity to be thoughtful about something, man. I'm doing great, man. It's the sun is finally shining. The power was on when I woke up. My phone wasn't dead. Oh man. So because if I get out of my rhythm, Jay, I have a hard time getting. It just ruins my whole day. Like if I get off that one little bump, it's hard to get everything back on course.
I feel you, man. I think we are all creatures of habit. And that makes a ton of sense, right? Like, actually, that was something my wife and I were talking about the other day, because I am very, very routine based, right? Like,
there? Are you muted?
This is stupid thing. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes Twitter wants to just mute me. No, I'm right there with you, man. I was saying the other day, Whitney and I were talking about this, with Emmy, like, I'm a very, very routine person myself. Like if I get off the routine, the wheels kind of fall off or whatever. And so we're, as we're, navigating parenthood, we're wondering, is Emmy like that? Is she, does she need that routine in order to thrive? And so I think, we're all creatures of the habit, like I said, and it makes sense the more that we can, get ourselves in, and not to be like a factory worker routine, but you do the things that get you, set yourself up for success on a daily basis. I mean, I think that's probably the right moves.
Well, I hate to do it, but I think I have to disagree with you on the factory thing, because I think that they have the most efficiency, right? And that if we could just learn from their things, not have to necessarily get involved in the actual factory. Because I mean, like being lean, like Sigma 6 and stuff. I did some of that when I was in the military. There's also a Japanese style. I can't think of the name of it. It's like 5 S's, I think. But like literally, they have tape on the floor, and there's a crate that's supposed to be in that inside of that square, and on that crate, there's supposed to be so many boxes. And by having it that put together, if something's out of place, you can easily tell because there's a hole there. And so if I want to get to like the Web3 level of efficiency and like that, in air quotations, 9 to 5 routine. Like I would love that.
Don't like that. I do not like that whatsoever, one bit. That is the antithesis, the anti-ethos of what we're trying to do. Because you got to think, man. Like, think of what like the factory workers. You know, we talk all the time about having to wake people up in a number of different things. And I think it's that factory worker mentality. And this is no shade on factory workers. I think it's the mentality that we're using as the example here. But those are the sheep. Those are the people that are programmed to stamp a button, stamp a button, stamp a button, stamp a button. There's no free thinking there. There is no, like, you're not using your beautiful, wonderful mind to do anything there. And so that's what we're doing. Like when we talk about, and when and again, I'm not trying to villainize factory workers. That's not what I'm doing. It's just about more the mentality. Plus, like, as we're trying to shape society into something that's not as sheepish or lemming or just blindly, following what our government does. Because somebody said this the other day. Why in the world are people still waiting for the government to do something for them? Why? What have they done? What have they done beneficial? And so, and I know this is not like a political conversation, but I think it's kind of just going back to that whole thing of, the mentality of, we need more free thinkers. We need more people that don't just sit there and press a button for 8 hours a day. And I get the routine, but that's not it, man. Like, that just creates trouble.
Oh no, I definitely agree with you on that 1000%. I was talking more about the efficiency and because the routine, right? Like you wake up, you go to the coffee machine, like I have my things that I do, and when I hit them all right, and I got that routine, my day is just like butter. But like if those things get off, it's just like kind of like in that. So I think maybe the assembly line, bro. That's kind of always been kind of my goal. Is like, I want to try to figure out like what the assembly line to like creativity is, right? Like where people are able to like use their dreams and their passions to pay their bills. Like, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody was born to flip hamburgers. Maybe, I hate saying that because there might be like one person out there who's like, I love flipping burgers. Like they've been like they wanted a spatula as a kid, like a whole thing. But like, bro, nobody was meant to like go to a factory and press a blue button, right? Like, but people need that, right? Like it shows that we're creatures of habits, right? So how can we bring that to the Web3 where people like they see this as a real job, right? Like everything that I do, my life is my job. Like, be as happy as possible is what I'm here to do. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. But Barbie has a hand up.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up?
Did you guys ever see that? Good morning. Did you guys ever see that movie, The Menu?
No. The Menu?
Mom. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really good. But it's that's an example of somebody who was born to flip burgers. So just wanted to let you know. There's at least one.
Here, I can tell you something. This is not that I was born to flip hamburgers, but I know that there's a greater good in it. One of my passions that I want, one of my bucket lists, is to have a smash burger food truck, and I will definitely work in it. Because that is something that I do enjoy. And I enjoy it on the level of, making something that somebody loves. Everybody loves a real good smash burger. But really, I think like more of the underlying tone of what I would want to do that for is to go out and be social. And I lived in Austin, Texas for a while. And if you guys have been there, they have a lot of food truck parks. And it's actually a really cool environment to go hang out. You're like on Rainy Street. They got, a couple little food truck parks where you can go hang out and socialize, right? And that's like one of the real fun things of being in an environment like that is, especially like on a street like Rainy Street, where a lot of people out there having fun, having drinks, and you socialize and you have a good time. And I feel like, we've gotten really far away from, I personally have gotten extremely far away from, that the social interaction, with real life people on a daily basis, which I think, the pandemic kind of screwed that up for a lot of people. But, getting back to that, and as we get into, the next bull run, or, when we get our financial freedoms, however it hits for you, right? However, the ability, the capacity for you to change your life and to do the thing that truly makes you tick. I think once you finally get there, you may find that, flipping a hamburger, you didn't think that it was something you wanted to do, but ultimately, if it gets you into the position to be with the people that you want to be with, or engage socially, on a different level, something that you've been craving for years, like so be it, whatever. But I agree with you that nobody was meant to go work at McDonald's for $12 an hour flipping hamburgers for 8 hours. Like, that's not a real thing. That is definitely something we can use robots for.
Definitely. And Jay, tonight actually I have I'm going to a music networking event in Nashville.
Nice.
I'm telling you, I've been doing this meetup thing because I think of it as like the real life Twitter Spaces. It's like a group of people, who are willing to come out into real life, and like I mean, like no one's like really too like there was only like really like one kind of person that's kind of weird and they were introverted, but they were even like, yo, I'm trying, and everybody just like surrounded them and like understood the vibe and just tried to support as best as possible, man. I think that I hope that more people like just get out and do those things. Go to meetup.
Go get a meetup. Go try to meet some people in real life. I love that idea. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Web3 Breakfast, that we come at you every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you want to be a part of the conversation, come on up here today. Today is going to be a fun one, I think, because, this sparked, I think, from something that I posted yesterday. And if I'm not mistaken, Shane, who I'm sure he'll be here. He's in here quite often. Shane T, one of our musician friends, he had asked, like, how do you actually define Web3? He said, because I've got a really good answer for it. And I said, you know what? That is a perfect conversation for tomorrow, because I know that everybody's got a different kind of idea of what Web3 or what Web3 means to them. And that's okay. We can all have our difference of opinions. But I would just love to have a collective idea and hear from everybody about what you think Web3 is or Web3 means to you. And so, guys, if you want to be part of the conversation today, come on up, raise your hand, be a part of this. We love that here. We appreciate that here. That's actually the whole point of the show, is to give the community an opportunity to have a voice, have a platform, engage in civil conversation as a community. And we only have the one rule, and I feel like everybody's been here before, so you should know that rule is don't be a douchebag. So no racists, no sexists, and no homophobes. Other than that, you are more than welcome to come up here and tell us what Web3 means to you. Let's see, we got American Crypto Academy just popped up. We got Matthew, we got Grateful, we got Barbie. Oh, we even got the Create NFT Marketplace, the Mandocs Create, hanging out with us today. So, guys, yeah, definitely looking forward to getting into this conversation in a little bit. I do want to quickly bring your attention. If you are watching on the live stream, again, we do live stream over on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, as well as do the Twitter space. But if you're watching the live stream, I pulled up NFTgo.io. Yesterday, we were talking about how we slunk down to a 18. Well, that the slump continued today. We are down to 16, ice cold at a 16. I love this, again, as we prepare for, the next run, as we prepare, our dry powder, as we prepare for our, our ability to maybe participate, in the buying the dip opportunity. I am definitely, again, excited for these opportunities to see, some blue chip collections, some collections that you want to be a part of that traditionally maybe you got priced out of, now are well within reach. So definitely take a look at, some of those opportunities, some buying opportunities. And I mean, just when you do look at that stuff, though, and be cautious. Look for things that are definitely going to be back. Maybe on the uprise. Look for communities that are still strong, founders that are still building, people that haven't rugged or capitulated yet, and those are your good buying opportunities.
Yeah. And if you love the art, you know what I mean, try to look for other ways to use it. Use those NFTs.
Oh, speaking of, I'm going to post this up into the nest today, of course today. But speaking of, so that's what I did. Like, I love metaversey, cool cyberpunk, muscle cars, all that stuff. And so as you guys know, if you've been following around what I've been kind of talking about, working with the Ethereum towers guys, we had Shane on the show, and there's going to be some other things coming up soon, but I've been designing my my apartment there, and I just posted up into the nest. You can see I did a couple AI images of some muscle cars and turned them into NFTs. I minted them, and then I'm putting them up on the walls as art in my studio, in our studio. I'm going to call it our studio. It's where we'll everybody, if you got an Oculus, pretty soon there's going to be an announcement that if you have an Oculus, I believe that you'll be able to get into the tower. Right now, it's just the closed test, which has been, I'll tell you what, you guys know I'm not a gamer. This metaverse is billed as the metaverse for non-gamers. I'm not a gamer. I never did like Fortnite or Roblox or anything, so I've never done like the builders. This thing is so easy and intuitive to use and very fun. I am having a great time building my I gotta remember that, our studio. It's our place to go hang out. This is where we're all going to get to hang out. If you got an Oculus, you need an Oculus.
Bro, that is dope. That is awesome, man. That you freaking went on it. NFTs and shit. Such a great idea. Because now, like, you know, like, you can pretty much create whatever you want.
Anything.
Be able to put it up.
This is gonna. I hope that that I don't shock people in a negative way, and maybe this is a positive thing for you. I had absolutely no idea. I've been in this game now for a while. I've never minted an NFT. It was 100% free to mint those NFTs on OpenSea. All I had to do was create the images, and then I saved them, and then uploaded them. I signed I did a signature on a contract for OpenSea, but there was no price involvement. So how cool is that? That you literally can create your own art as NFTs for an application like this, right? So now I've got all these ideas in my mind that, hey, you know, once the actual platform goes live, and we're gonna need a bigger space, because right now we have just a standard. There's luxuries and penthouses. The penthouses are crazy, but they go for like 25 ETH. Right now we can get a luxury for 1 ETH, which hopefully I'll do that, and then we can start designing it. But you know, now what we could do is turn that into a revenue generator, right? So we could start advertising as a space for people to have an event there, hold an event there, right? So now we have something where, you know, and we can turn this thing over, and we can, you know, design it and create, you know, a custom layout that, you know, an event organizer wants. Think about all the fun things that we can now do with the metaverse, that, you know, once you've got the idea of what a metaverse is, but once you finally start to get into it and play with it, I tell you what, you start to realize that the sky is the absolute limit, and your creativity is really your only bounds.
You know, the one thing that I've always wanted to do is I've always wanted to have like a heckle theater, like where a group
Did you
people
say
get together.
a heckle theater?
Heckle theater.
Nice.
And we put on a movie, and everybody goes in and just heckle the film. Like, everyone just talks shit to each other, like, you know, making jokes about the movie. And that's the whole. It's a heckle theater.
Yeah. Hey, we could have heckle theater night. We could have comedy night, open mic comedy night. You can do all these sorts of fun things. I'm super excited for where things are going to be going. I can't wait for that platform to actually launch, and then we'll start to do some fun stuff in the metaverse, because it's time, right? It's time to start really just pushing the metaverse narrative forward, because we're just a few years away. But let's talk about Web3. Let's talk about what Web3 means to you. What is your definition of Web3? Like, if you had to think about this. And or actually, not if you had to think about it. I mean, all of us in this industry, like, you get that question all the time. What is Web3? What does that even mean? Well, there's a lot of different answers, like I was saying earlier. I would love to hear from someone first. Matthew, I think that you're probably a good person to answer this question first. What is Web3?
I really appreciate that. GM, I assume y'all can hear me okay?
Absolutely. Perfect. GM, fam.
Word. Fantastic. I love this question. I think there's two schools of thought, both of which are absolutely correct. The first is that it's an absolute bullshit term. That means nothing in the it's completely made up so that we can start to talk about and quantify and understand some of these technologies. So you know, there was never a Web 2 before there, you know, there was a Web 1, okay, there was a Web 2, I guess, but until there's a third one, we kind of like said this is it. Hopefully it's not like an iPhone where we get to like Web 14 or 15. But I think, to me, the other answer is, and I kind of got this from a book called The Future is Faster Than You Think, which is a great recommended book as well. It's a great kind of peer into the technologies of the future. But one thing to keep in mind about this is that Web3 to me is really the convergence of a number of different technologies together. And by convergence, we mean they all come together at the same time. We've had AI for a number of years. We've had virtual reality and augmented reality for a number of years. Blockchain has been around since the early 90s, right? So these technologies have been around for a long time, but there hasn't been an ecosystem and a community and a sort of technological mechanism to push us forward collectively with all those technologies together. And I think Bitcoin was a really interesting proof of concept for how we were able to take something like a blockchain technology and use it for greater sort of community benefit. And on top of that, we've got these other sort of blockchains, these other layer ones, L2s. Now you've got metaverses and augmented reality. And all of a sudden, people are starting to understand that there's this ecosystem of converging technologies. All these technologies use each other to create this new ecosystem, this new environment and paradigm where we're embarking on sort of this decentralized, quote unquote, decentralized sort of space. I also think decentralization is kind of becoming a religion in some sense. People are like, it's not decentralized, it's centralized. And that's fine. You can have your viewpoint there, but to me, it's a spectrum. And there's things that lay on one side of the spectrum and things that lay on the other side of the spectrum, but it's all about the convergence, the coming together of these technologies together that really coalesce into this bullshit term we know as Web3.
I like that. I like that. I mean, and so, you know, with that being said, I don't, golly, can you guys hear me again? Sorry, I was getting a phone call. I'm back. Jesus, 3 times in a row. Turbo, take
I
over.
hope it's a telemarketer. Pick it up.
No, it's about
do you
some
have
other
a
situation.
moment to talk about your car warranty?
Is your refrigerator running?
Have you recently been the victim of an accident?
Very well played.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that.
Have you been in the Web3 and had a shoulder injury?
No, that's
We should go ahead and make those commercials. You should go ahead and do that.
We could. Matthew gave a
Yeah.
really good answer, so we could kind of just take what he said and go with that versus this. That's
We were just waiting on you to come back.
Well, you guys could have had an intellectual conversation without me, I'm pretty sure.
Debatable.
We were hoping you merged to come. We get to play with a telemarketer on here.
No,
You know, like when the line breaks and when in the ant hill, like when the line breaks, like that's what happens when you leave, Jay. Like the line breaks and nobody knows what to do. We just scatter.
I know, like even on a Friday, like in our Web3 chat, like I got to sign off as Mr. Belding and saying, hey, yeah, guys, I'm heading out for the weekend. And then, you know, you guys are talking about rolling kegs into the gymnasium. And I don't know, I'll just, when the cat's away, the mice will play, apparently.
Yeah, you know, honestly, you just had a really good flow going. I was like, man, as soon as he comes back, it's gonna go right back into the thing. And I didn't want to mess that up, but I'm gonna do it now. All right, because creative, you have your hand up, and you know I'm here to protect Jay, man. So go ahead, fam.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
GM.
Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, I really like this topic because, you know, Web3 kind of gets tossed around. And I really like what you were saying before, Jay Chains, about, you know, like the whole like flipping burgers, like people aren't designed to, you know, we weren't, we're spiritual beings, right? Like deep down, like we're not, you know, supposed to work a 9 to 5 till we're, you know, 60 years old and then, you know, retire and have a few years left to live, right? And that's what I really love about quote unquote Web3 is that if you take a look down in the crowd, you know, we're all a community of, you know, free thinkers, believers that there's more, that there can be more, and it's really powerful because if you like, besides all like the BS and the crap that happens, you know, just and you know, it's not different than, you know, what would you call like in real life or whatever, right? But deep down, it's like a community of believers, creators, artists, you know, musicians, collectors, you know, people that see things differently, which is really cool. And then, you know, kind of like what Matthew was saying, it's like this, you know, combination of technology that, you know, allows all this to flourish. And, you know, when I see Web3, you know, I think of more of like the technical term, like when we set out to create, you know, one of the most innovational NFT marketplaces, you know, what does Web3 look like, right? Like a digital ID, single sign-on through a whole network of things, whether it's apps. So basically, like you carry your information through apps, right? Like say Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter all had a single sign-on with, you know, your wallet, your info, your data, and you could take those between apps, and basically like with a whole community, right? Like when I think of like Web3, I think of yeah, like the tech and people, right? The social aspect, which is different, right? But it's also like Web2 developing at the same time and becoming something greater. So it's kind of like what I would say like Web 2.5 is the goal, right? Like combining Web 3, what people would define as Web 3, with Web 2, which is like the Internet of Things. But yeah, you know, I just like being here, building, and you know, supporting different communities, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? Like we're sick of, you know, having to be slaves, right? Like this gives you opportunity. The thing is that we're so early that, you know, we you know, the way that the markets are moving right now, it's like, you know, but it's people, you know, like manipulation and stuff that they want to keep you trapped, right? Like it's kind of against you know, kind of like the big dogs of the world right now. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the conversation. But to me, like Web3 is a community. So yeah.
I love that. You know, the community aspect of Web3 is massive, and you know, one of the things that now you know, and kind of like a joke, but you know, seriously, like, all right, so Web3, we know that the term is kind of a joke. It's just where we're at right now. Let me ask you guys a question: does the show Web3 Breakfast have a shelf life because of the name Web3? Would it be better served to be like blockchain breakfast? Because Web3 ultimately, now, if you were to ask me, like my easiest way to describe what Web3 is to somebody is, you know, the integration of blockchain into the internet. You know, enabling the internet with blockchain based dApps, websites, stuff like that. It's also, you know, a heightened sense of transparency, specifically in the financial sector. You know, they like to say that, you know, crypto is made for criminals. Well, no, cash is made for criminals. Crypto, anything on the blockchain is unequivocally trackable. You know, I get that there's mixers and you know, Tornado Cash and all that kind of stuff, and there's probably very few people that are actually using that. But more illicit transactions happen with cash than with crypto, and I think that that's, you know, that, so we can debunk that. So you know, again, so it's this ability to, and I love what you said, create about community. That's something that I've said. You know, with where we are in this ecosystem, it's community and access, and we've just talked about this before, being like the Venn diagram, right, where the circle for community and the circle for access definitely has the overlap, and I think that's what makes this so special. So we've got that, and then the things that we laid out just a second ago. To me, it's the transparency, it's the community, it's the, you know, the integration of blockchain, and then I think, you know, when you talk about, when you try to add into the metaverse there, that's when now it's, you know, you maybe it's gives us a sense of our imaginations back. Like now it's like, if you think it, you can build it, you can create it, and you can experience it, you know, once we get into this next layer, which, you know, we're several years away from, but that's the whole point of being able to build this stuff out now. Now that's a little bit longer and a little bit more wordier than, you know, that I would give to somebody. Literally, I think my answer would be, it's just integrating blockchain into the internet with a lot of other fancy features that, you know, we'll find out, you know, and oh, and ownership. Clearly, we got to talk about ownership as far as Web3 goes.
I really loved the thing you said in there about being a believer. You know, like I would definitely say that, you know, like I was a builder, bigger than even being, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in this, like in what we're able to do moving forward, as far as like inclusivity and giving people an opportunity to have a voice, and like, you know, their dreams are able to pay their bills, and you can actually use your art for good and create business. Like that's, I'm a believer in that. And so through that, I'm a builder, because I have to build this thing that I see. Because if I don't, then who will?
I love it. Ali, I see we got Ali Nazim on the stage here. Let me ask you a question, Ali.
My guy.
That when you're thinking about, you know, Web3, what is the strongest component of Web3 between crypto, NFTs, and the metaverse, or none, all or none? What do you think?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
I'm answerable. Actually, a nice question. I think the relation between them is all of three you were saying, the financial aspect, NFTs and metaverse is the Web3 is the key point of all of these three innovations. I'll say. I mean, if you look at the history of the Web1 is just like a newspaper. And with the Web2, we have the interaction. We can interact with anybody electronically. And when the Web3 came, kind of doxed version, digitally doxed version of Web2 we are living. Because as somebody said before, everything is in Web3 are recorded, can be trackable, and that way we can do financial things inside it. And when we can do this, when we make a digital thing as an asset, now we can use those technologies like metaverse, like AI, like augmented realities, everything. The key point is making digital assets to be valuable and tradable. That is the key point of Web3, I guess. Is it a good answer? Did I answer
Yeah,
your
well,
question?
I mean, so you answered the question, and I think that's the most important thing. And that's one of the things that I laid out, in the beginning when I kind of talked about what we're going to talk about, is that your answer about Web3, and while we're all still trying to find the clear definition of it, like it's okay if everybody has their own definition of it, if it means something differently to them. Some people like like the community. Like if the community is the number one aspect of Web3 to you, that's fantastic. If it's the financial freedom, fantastic. If it's the fact that you've always wanted to be an artist and you never really found the right application for it, but now you can as an NFT artist and creating digital art, fantastic. If it's you've been an entrepreneur your whole life, it doesn't matter why you're here or what you get out of Web3. Is the fact that you are here and that you are getting something from this ecosystem that we're building. And Matthew, if we don't want to call it Web3, what do we want to call it?
I think that's a really great question. Let me ask you something let me rephrase that, or ask you a question in reverse, which is, what did we call the internet boom? What did we call Web 2 before? I guess it wasn't the internet, it was more like social media, right? Like, what did we call Web 2?
We didn't call it anything. We just went on the internet.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's my point, is I think that we collectively we're in this like amazing sandbox of people who are trying to build a community together without the need of big institutions and big groups to do this. And we have this massive grassroots opportunity, but it's really difficult to explain to people what that is. So, and I love Turbo's piece about this. Like, Web3 is you kind of have to believe in it. Like, you have to believe that this is something different, that it's bigger than ourselves. And I think that that's so important. And part of the piece to this that's so amazing to me, and one of the biggest bullish reasons I like, if you have any question about like whether or not this is the future, you're literally going to bank 2 billion people who do not participate in the digital economy in the next few years, in the next decade or so. If you think about the vast wealth that's going to be created and the tide that's going to lift all these boats together, it's going to be because of things like Web3 and the ability for people to financially transact and interact with people without the need for cables, without the need for institutions. And that's like vastly imperative to this. But I don't know what to call it. And I think that that's a really funny thing, is that we want to be like on a team, right? Like, we're team Web3, like we're team whatever the Twilight teams were. I forget. Team Edward. That's me.
Twilight.
The
vampire. You're talking about the vampire movie?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
It's like Harry Potter. Don't worry, you don't have to read it. But I think this is a way for us to have a team name, right? It's a way for us to have a community that we can identify that's tangible, and I think that that's really important. So I don't think we have to call it anything else, quite frankly.
Well, I think that one of the things that we are in, I try to remind people of this, because we see a lot of teams getting creative, and then like teams kind of split off and new teams being built and stuff. It's because we're all innovators. The majority of the people who are here are innovators, right? And so anytime that we create something, I know for me personally, right, like when I work with a team and we build something, it's almost the very first thing, right, that you do is you're like, okay, what are we calling it? What's the name of it? And so like as innovators, it's just something that I feel that we just naturally want to do. We talk about the name, but we do have some hands, and it's also right at that workout time, Jay, as well. So I'm gonna pass it to you. And
let's all right, let's do this. Let's get the workout in, and then we'll come back to the hands, because we are already 5 minutes late for the workout. And it's always tough when we're super late for a workout and then on time, because then your muscles aren't quite ready for the next one. Because remember, we're creatures of habit here. So let's get to the workout, and then we'll get back to hands.
All right, I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna start off push-ups.
Okay.
I felt really strong on my push-ups yesterday, so that's where I'm gonna go back to, because it's a reminder too that like we can just simply use our bodies. We don't have to have all these fancy tools and all these ideas and backflips and things. Like just simply just pushing yourself up off the ground, and it also is going to tend give you long. That's a skill that you should want to keep for a very long time, is getting yourself off the ground.
Cool. All right. Well, I know we did the listening party yesterday for Nessie, but that doesn't mean anything, because today's the actual day of the Mint going live. Remember, I think they're starting a Mint party at 2 p.m. 3 o'clock you can mint if you're a Real Gang pass holder, and then 4 if you're on the Minds list, and then 5 goes to public if there's anything available. So we'll post something to Nest in a little bit here, but this is one of those tracks. This is my favorite track, or this is one of my favorite tracks from that album. This is what we're doing, what we doing, and yeah, I'm gonna do. So you said you're doing push-ups, Turbo?
Yeah, I'm doing the push-ups.
All right.
I'm in the push-up starting position now.
All right.
Waiting on you.
Oh, just waiting on me. All right, here we go. All right, here's the jam, guys. Time to get up out your seat, get that heart rate, get that blood pumping. It's time for the workout. Remember, healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy portfolios. Let's get it.
Yeah.
All right, this is your time right now, guys. Get up. Let's go. They're pushing.
What we doing?
Whatever it is you're doing.
How you saying wag me, but you laying bad seeds? What we doing? Hey. Projects getting pumped, just to end up getting dumped. What we doing? Hey. Got the whole space jumping, but they never give us nothing. What we doing? Going on? Tell me what we doing. Going on? Hey. I'm trying to onboard all my hitters from Concord to time for it. Do it, cause Dylan never got more. It's all love. We gotta lead by example because it's all us. So what is we gonna do? Seen a lot of crooked things in my time. Deals over my ties. Best friends split over fine brides. End of the day, we all each other's lifeline. Cause what's the point of winning without someone to share it with? Always spread the love no matter how rare it get. Used to ride the hand-me-down J's. I ain't care if they did. I'm making music for myself. I don't care if it hit. I'm just sharing the clips. Gotta match what happened to that boy. Shit. A lot of pain in my heart, what happened to that joy? Had to tap back and ain't wanna lose that boy. A lot of blabbing chatter, I had to mute that noise. So what we doing? What we doing? How you saying wag me, but you laying bad seeds? What we doing?
That away.
Come
on, get those reps in. This is your opportunity to make a difference, make change right now.
But they never give us nothing. What we doing? What are we doing? Tell me what we doing. What we doing?
Nice job, gang. Nice job. That away.
Woo.
Oh.
Is the trick?
I was doing.
The trick to doing push-ups is just go until you can't go, because you're not going to be able to do a second set. Like once you're gassed, you're done.
Yeah, the best thing, so what I like to do is I just go all the way down to my chest. I like to break my hands from the ground and then just push up from there. You know what I mean? Like I don't do the just consistent like pump, because that's kind of like more muscle memory. I like the idea of going down and restarting the energy. But in doing that today, I was doing it outside in the grass, and like I could smell the grass, bro. And I just stopped for a second, like, ah, man, that's great to be alive.
Great
Such
to be
a great time to be alive.
We always say get out there and touch some grass. You literally did it for the workout. I think that was amazing. All right, let's get to some of our hands here. Thank you for being patient with us. We will go ladies first. So we'll go Nikki, and then Grateful, and then Create.
I promise I'm here. I'm so sorry.
You're all good.
No, what I was going to say is like, I think that eventually Web3, and this is what I hope, I was going to leave this for the after party after the show. Six Impossible Things, but I have to say it. So I'm hoping that someday Web3 will just be referred to as the internet, like we do now, right? It's the internet. Right now, I think when people hear Web3, they think of this like technological bohemia, and it's not necessarily taken that positively by people. So like that's the point, is that we need to just keep at it and keep changing that narrative. And you know, that's what we're here for.
I like it.
I think our desire
What's that, Sheesh?
is my bad. I stepped out of line.
What was your,
everybody got?
What was your comment though? What'd you say?
Well, I was gonna say, I'll say it quickly. That I think the reason why it has a name is because it's the evolution. You know, think of the internet as like a medium, and think of and communities as like bacteria, protozoa, like different things that are growing. They need names, you know. It's not like you're not gonna look at the petri dish and be like, oh, let's give this name. No, you're gonna look at the thing that's moving around and be like, yeah, look at this cool little thing. Yeah, I'm gonna name you Pete. You're Pete, the protozoa. You know, it's an evolution of humanity. That's why it needs a name.
Well, and that's exactly why like the bohemians of, you know, the art culture were labeled that, was because it was something new. If we're only in like Web3, like the third version of or going into the third version of the internet, like now you get to the point where you kind of have to name it, right? And so that's why I'm hoping like it'll still eventually just be called the internet. Like we don't call artists bohemians anymore, like we call them artists. But you know, back in the 1800s, 1850s, they weren't necessarily called artists.
So was the artist a word back then?
It was a word. It was absolutely a word. You have, you know, Renaissance artists and everything, but because they were changing the traditional narrative of art, they were labeled as something that was perceived as, you know, alt culture.
It was the term artist is around the 1580s, and it is one who cultivates one of the fine arts. From the French artiste, from the Italian artista, from the medieval Latin artista.
I was thinking, you know, like the whole bohemian thing. While she was saying that, I was just thinking of, you know, people who consider themselves bohemians. I imagine them probably killing it themselves by being like, "No, you're an artist. Like we're bohemians, and you're an artist." So like, and then eventually just died away.
No,
yeah, that's exactly my point. That's exactly the point I was making.
In some places, like I definitely have still heard the term bohemian used. Now it is definitely an old-fashioned term, and so if you hear anybody use the term bohemian, that is definitely their old-fashioned. But I have heard it, and it is interesting. And to me, at this point, it may just describe hippies. But you know.
Real quick, because I know we have these hands, but like speaking on these kind of term things, because I called it a Davenport one time, and I got roasted for hours.
What's a Davenport?
Couch.
A couch?
Yeah, you never heard that?
No. What are you, from the 1800s?
It's an old. Yeah,
you're about to get roasted again, dude.
Yeah, dude, a Davenport.
Jeez.
Please, welcome to my home. Have a seat on my Davenport. I'd be like, I'm leaving, man. Don't tell me to sit on your Davenport.
Touch my monocle.
Bohemian? Oh, I didn't realize you was a bohemian. Sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
Have a seat on my Davenport while they're ready.
Yeah. We'll probably let that one fade out. A Davenport for a couch. I like couch better. But that's just me. You know, everybody to each their own kind of thing. All right, Grateful. What you got for us?
Yo, GM. Everybody retweet the space real quick though too, because we should have 100% retweet ratio, right? And I think this has been a really good space. So
I mean, we're at like I think 10%, right? I got 3. I'm showing 3 retweets with 30 people in the space, so that means 28 of you.
Terrible.
28 of you ain't doing your job. Sorry. It's not that hard. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to retweet the space, and I appreciate it.
Takes about 1 second. But
my daughter appreciates it. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Paying attention.
I'm gonna try and kind of stay focused on like organized train of thought here, I guess. But like, just because there's so much that comes to my mind, like with this one question, you know. But like with what Nikki was saying and everything, it's like, I think that is where we'll end up. It's just going to be the internet. Everything's going to evolve so quickly, and the integration is going to end up happening so quickly that it's just going to be a part of everybody's life without people knowing it. Just like the evolution of the technology we currently use every day. Like, nobody knows how a text message is sent. They just know it works and they need it. Nobody really knows how the internet is work. I mean, some people know how the internet works, but the average person couldn't tell you how the internet is actually functioning. So, and it's not like when we went into the Internet of Things and everything, and all that started beginning, everybody's talking about getting on Web 2. They're just getting on the internet. So I think that will pretty much remain. But I don't know if I had to describe it to somebody. I'm going to have like a super bullish stance on this, just because I started getting involved in what blockchain actually was like so many years ago. And back then I was like, holy shit, this is like the future of literally everything that we are going to use and do. But and the Web3 thing, it is kind of like a joke to me too, but at the same time, it's not, because the technology is so it's so advanced in the potential for everything that it can be involved in, with NFTs and everything, with distribution warehouses and property and leases and anything with a contract, like literally everything. But I don't know, I guess I would say it's kind of like a disruptive technology that at this point is almost experimental. And I know it sounds cliche, but because we are so early, and the adoption is just not there, it's almost experimental, even though we know that it's here to stay forever and we know what it's going to end up doing to everything in our life. But God, this is hard to put into like a sentence.
See, that's the thing. And that's why I think it's a great topic. It's a great discussion point. And, and I think that, traditionally in crypto, like a lot of us, and, we're talking about Web3 now, which is even more encompassing, right? Now we've got a lot more of the technology, a lot more advancements that have happened, since the last several years, where, traditionally, like if you were to try to talk to somebody about crypto and blockchain, we've all experienced, it's just a vocal diarrhea session that, we're way too excited. We speak way above everybody most of the time. And, it probably further complicates the matters for some people, right? Now, some people get it and some people have a better way of explaining it. But I think, it's always been that, the joke or the meme, right? Where, you get somebody in front of a group of people that doesn't know anything about crypto, and by the end of it, everybody's way more confused, than they were in the first place, because we get just get way too excited and revved up, and it's like what was it? There's a scene from, is that Tommy Boy with when he's like talking about the bird, he's like, my little pet bird, and I just want to pet him and squeeze him. It's like that same kind of feeling where we just get so freaking excited about what we're talking about, that sometimes we don't quite deliver the message that we're trying to. And so I totally get you on that one.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I'm putting something together real quick. Okay, so I guess I would say it's a disruptive technology that is evolutionizing virtually the communication, programming, and functionality behind all other technology as far as devices and communication and finances go. That is also providing a revolution and opportunity for the people to, in essence, take the power back and not be so reliant on the archaic systems that we've been trapped in for hundreds of years, for the most part. But the opportunity that it's going to create is pretty much, in my mind, going to be the biggest wealth transfer of all time. That happens over the next decade.
The largest transformation of wealth in the history of humankind. We are watching it unfold. It's the fourth industrial revolution, and that is blockchain technology. Love it. Love it. Love it. Creates next. Sheesh. You're going to have to start using your hand. Because first off,
sorry.
Yeah. You're just going to have to start using the hand, because we got create and then B-Skeet to get to. And so just, put your hand up. It's all good. We love you. You know we love you. But go ahead, Create.
Yeah, I just wanted to, say I agree completely with what everyone's been saying about like what mass adoption is going to look like, right? Like we don't ask, when you're using the internet, we don't ask about the tech behind it. We just use it and it works, right? It's easily accessible, and it's seamless. For example, one of the things that we've been building with Create, we partnered with a blockchain called Wire Network, and one thing that they specialize is that seamless, like everything on their network is connected by that single sign-on I was talking about. But it's cool what it's actually going to look like, because if you go on the App Store and you go and play one of the games that's on Wire, when you, for instance, like let's think of a game like Candy Crush, right? Like huge, huge fad, and nobody asks about the tech behind it, right? And that's what these apps are starting to look like play to earn apps. It's so seamless that you don't even know what's on the blockchain unless you were to go on Create with that same sign in and see a NFT go in your wallet. So that's where it's like, a lot of things have to be reworked and rebuilt to be so seamless that someone's grandma, if they can use Facebook, can use their app.
I am super excited to learn more, to be perfectly honest with you. And I had asked this question the other day, and I definitely want to get into this at some point when we maybe have our next blockchain or Web3 or internet gaming conversation. Is the integration of these app-based games, because that to me, we spend a lot of time and focus on platform games or computer games, but that's not it. Like in my opinion, yeah, that's where gamers, we'll put the quotes in on that one, where gamers like to play. But that's not where you're seeing a lot of kids and women and older people spending a lot of their time and focus. And so if we could find a way to create a Candy Crush style game for this Web3 blockchain group, that to me is where we're going to start to see some big numbers happen. Beasky,
I'll send you a link. Actually, you can download some of these games already.
Nice.
And literally, like, it's crazy. Like, so I logged into this game, and you buy it with your Apple Pay, and then you purchase a skin with the stones, and it actually instantly puts an NFT in your wallet, and you don't even know it unless you were to like sign into the marketplace. But I can send you some links, because it is really interesting, and I was kind of blown away when I saw it for myself.
Hell yeah. Definitely send me a list. I want to take a look at that for sure.
You just hit on something huge, man. Like in everything you said, is that the problem in the gaming sector, and then we'll bring this up another time, but I want to make this point real quick, is that, like the majority of players are like in these app-based games and these other platforms and stuff. But we see the control and the people making all the like calls from the PC gaming world over there.
Yeah.
So just want to make that point.
That's definitely a conversation that we can have, because there's probably a lot to unpack in there in our next gaming conversation. So we'll do that. Beasky, what you got for us?
First off, totally Turbo. What's not Web3 is Apple Pay. That is not Web3. What You Doing, dude, that song is so freaking good. I love that you played it this morning, but I'm actually getting anxiety from that listening party, because now I'm like, I'm not going to get some of these songs, and it's going to totally wreck my day if I get like 100 versions of one song and not the other ones I want. But Web3 is a term that we use to describe this space to each other, because we're so early to it that it isn't a thing yet. So we had to have some way to talk about it. And the way we came up with was to call it Web3. But Web3 is not the term we're going to use to sell it to the market. It's not the term, and I know I've said this before, so I'm sorry if I'm being redundant, but it's not the thing that we're going to use to onboard people. It's the thing we use to talk about it amongst each other, because we need a construct to put what we're doing in, and what we're doing is so new that it's not yet a thing. But we have reached the point, the breaking point, where Web3 is going to become an unnecessary term, because we're not going to need to talk about it, because we will be able to demonstrate it. When Meta Rides comes out, you're not going to need to tell somebody it's a Web3 game. That'll be a useless way to describe it. You're just going to say, dude, it's a driving game that gives you more power and control over your experience than any other game has before. You're going to be able to, we have to get to the point where we're creating actual products, and the product is what we're selling, and the product is made stronger by the underlying technology, which is the thing we call Web3. But you're not going to sell anyone anything going, hey, you're going to love this, it's a Web3 razor. That's not going to make any sense to anybody. We need the products to start getting pushed out, and they are. And then what we sell and expand on is these products with this underlying technology. But I think the term Web3 will die when the products come to life.
Let me tell you something right now, Beaskeep. When that Web3 razor comes to market and they start marketing shave to earn, I'm not participating. This beard's going nowhere. Just so
also, I learned I cracked the emoji spam thing. If anyone wants to know, we can talk about that at some point.
Oh yeah, let's all right, let's get through. We got a couple minutes to the next workout break. Let's get through these hands, and then you're talking about how to get like the rapid fire thing going. Is that, yeah, okay, all right, Leah, let's talk about that after the workout break, because I got to know how to do that, because I'm not using the Apple Watch anymore. I got to know how to do it without the watch. Let's go Sheesh and then Token.
Sheesh. Twice, just like, I want to respond. Piggyback.
No, he has hand paralysis.
I'm piggybacker, bro. I don't do what, because then now I don't know what to say.
You can take it back. You can take it back. Like, remember we were talking about 10 minutes ago? You can do that.
Yeah. No. I think what Grateful said before is like us, like about integration and how it's in the background. Like I know the concept, like I've listened to Sandeep talk about it for hours. I think it's a little dangerous because we as a human species are not ready to let go of our sovereignty, to let things go into the background. I think we need to educate ourselves, and that might take a generation or two before we're able to let it go to the background. And I understand by letting it go to the background, we're starting a cycle over where we could potentially set ourselves up for massive centralization again. This is a war that kind of needs to be on the forefront. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of technology is going to have, like, when you talk about zero knowledge proofs and it's it's specific setup for gaming and a lot of it could actually get really, really super adopted in that way. Because you won't feel it. You won't feel crypto while you're interacting with something, and that might be a fish to get people like to look at. Oh, I didn't realize this was an NFT. Oh, this is what NFTs are. Oh, that's fucking cool. And now you're right in the mix, taking back your self sovereignty. I think it's a great tool, but I don't think that it all needs to hide in the background. This is a war to me. We're going up against titans trying to take our sovereignty back, and that can never go in the background.
Yeah, but the onboarding is going to be centralized. I can almost guarantee it.
I agree, but it's gonna, like everything, it's gonna be centralized first. Banking was centralized first, and then we just copy pasted it.
Do you think we'll actually be able to fix the banking?
Well, if we continue to let first in, first out economic models gain hype and keep participating in them without equally participating in voting mechanisms, DAOs, and like social infrastructures that don't really pay anything but are cool experimentations and uses of technology, we won't. But I also think like the more people like me talk about it, we plant little seeds and eventually they become something, and that's all I care about. I don't give a shit about, and that's probably the problem, right? I don't give a shit about being famous or being, as big as Sam Bankman and ended up rugging half the world. No, I like to plant seeds of thought that I know would just become these full-on big-scale movements later on, because somebody's just going to copy pasta that thing, and it's going to get copy pasted again. Before you know it, there's hundreds of thousands of these little entities that were just is influenced by an idea, because it's all about the idea. The idea never dies. The entities that are created, they're like protozoa bacteria, like I said before. They're gonna come, they're gonna go. But the idea, what you can do, you can build a giant organism in a layer on the internet. Oh, that's never gonna die.
Never. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Token Panda.
Hey, James,
It's going well, man. GM. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I think maybe my comment is irrelevant now. It's hard to jump in. I just had when you get an opportunity, I just threw my hand up. I think it was Beatsky saying something. But yeah, sheesh. That sounds wild about some organisms living on the internet, man. Like, my comment was, I feel the same way about the term Web3 as I do with digital art. And
I hate the term.
I'm like,
digital.
is there someone else like working on it? Like, do we have someone working on another, like, I'm, as a physical artist, like, I mean, it makes sense and it was fun to use. I'm like, oh, no one knows what this means. Oh, I'm going to use it. And then, making my website, and the people I'm working with are like, does anyone know what digital art is? And it's like, I found the blockchain because I was trying to put QR codes on paintings and insert NFC readers into Canvas. And I found it as a way to prove to the people who are collecting my art that it was original, made by this date, the provenance of it, and to be able to do something with the digital representation. And now it's not only for artists, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but do you now have to like offer a token and all these things and do it was like, well, what the art was the utility, the whole argument of the token or the is the token the value, or is the thing that represents the token the value? I feel the way a little bit about digital art. Like it's not to the point where we're not going to be calling it that in however long of time, because in my opinion, all physical art should be digital, because it should be connected to the chain. It needs to be on the chain anyway for it to have the. Why would I sell a painting for $5,000 if it wasn't on the chain? You're just going to put it in someone's house across the street or the basement of some or pool room of some. Like what's the point? It doesn't. You get a receipt from a gallery like that you bought it in. That's ways of the past. Those galleries have now screens, and the screens are what you purchase, and it's something that moves or is in AR or in VR. The physical is been shipped by me or been shipped by a third party, or is then been curated from a gallery in London or the Freeport. Like this blockchain sort of eliminates what's happened in Freeport. I don't know if that's a relevant topic. That could be a whole conspiracy week in itself, but I don't want to take up all the time again. Yeah, I think it's what does Web3 mean to me? It's too tricky and but to put my thing on it. I just feel the same way about a few other things where it's like maybe we are just we couldn't call it anything else. Like we just.
Well, I've got an idea, and I think I've got a new DAO idea, so we can add this one into our rotation. I'll be quick, and then Grateful. Are you quick, or do you want to go after the next workout break?
I can go after the break, man. It's all good.
Okay, cool. All right. Really, I think what we should do is we need to start a DAO that is the official terminology department for blockchain and Web3, so that we can have working terms, and we know exactly, like, the NFT, we get it. NFT is the working term. We are working on it right now to come up with something updated, and we'll let everybody know when we get there. We'll just do a bunch of press releases and announcements, letting people know that we're working on different terms, stuff like that. So that's the plan for the new DAO. Don't know a name for it yet. We can come up with it after the break. The next track that we're going to do for this workout today, again, this is yesterday was our intergalactic listening party for the Nessie Open Minds album, dropping today, minting this afternoon. And so another good track from that one was called Rugs. So time to get those healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy portfolios all in check.
Sit-ups.
Nope, I'll save that for the last one. I'll never do sit-ups for the first or second workout ever, only the third. Because then I'll just be uncomfortable for 30 minutes versus an hour.
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, here's Nessie with Rugs. Let's get it.
Game over? Do you miss me?
Let's go. Let's go. Work on.
I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, just wanna can't get no love from me. Say they feeling me, only want it, extra liquidity. I don't want no rush, just wanna can't get no love from me. Say they feeling me, only want it, extra.
Talk to me nice, only if that price is right. Skywalking, yeah, we beamed up, I ain't talking ultralight. Put some potion in my chalice, feeling dirty like a Sprite. I'm the future of the mutants, but these serums getting spiked. All these wallets getting drained, got my brain in disarray. Throwing other people money, but you claim you getting paid. No shade, we just smoke them like a vape. Whether in or out the space, keep them rolling in their grave.
Bounce, 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 bounce. I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, Russ can't get no love. I don't want no rush, just wanna can't get no love from me. Say they feeling me, only want it, extra liquidity. I don't want no rush, just wanna can't get no love from me. Say they feeling me, only want it, extra liquidity.
All this fun, what the fuck? All these runs, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? All this fun, what the fuck? All these runs, what the fuck? All these fun, what the fuck?
Woo! Here we go. Feel the burn, baby.
Man, my sit-up game getting strong. I've just been doing a shitload of sit-ups, mainly just because I'm trying to get my revenge body. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta have whatever motivation you get, just grab onto it, hold on to it, take it to the moon.
I'm gonna get built like a brick shit house tuning into this.
That's the goal,
baby.
That's the goal. Changing the game here, guys. We're doing the healthy minds, healthy bodies, and healthy portfolios. Yeah, that's a triple threat right there, man. If you can't, Turbo's talking about that revenge body. Tell you what, man, that's a triple threat. You got them all. Ain't nobody gonna tell you no. Not in a bad way. Not that came out terribly. I'm just gonna rewind it. Yeah,
Jesus.
Thank you.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you, man. The last couple shows that we've had, Jay, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that ain't. I feel like we're doing better. We've been doing really good. We ain't said nothing too crazy. So this has been fantastic.
This is my forgiveness body, because after all the shit I put my wife through for the last couple of years, here, babe.
To my candy. Give your wife. Give your. Well, now what is it? We decided we were gonna do the. What was it? The Web3 spouse? No, what was it? What do we call the show?
Spouses of Web3. Spouses of Web3.
Was it the Spouses of Web3?
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. If you get super jacked in the Web3, like I'm talking like straight up like 6-pack hard body, across all the way. You know what I'm saying? Your wife is not gonna be mad that you're on Twitter all day. Nobody gonna be mad. You know what I mean? But if you're like gaining a lot of weight, you're having like breathing issues and shit, like you really can't get out and do the physical activity like you used to, just because your density is getting less because you just sitting around all the time. Yeah, I can understand why they're getting upset. You know what I'm saying? Bro, this is adoption. This is Web3. Fit 3.
I think we called it the Real Housewives of Web3.
No, because we have to be more encompassing. So it was like the Real House Spouse or something like that. That's I couldn't remember like the term.
It was along those lines though.
Yeah. The Web3 house spouse or the Real House Spouses of Web3, whatever it turns out to. Somebody check the tapes, run it back. You got about 3 weeks to comb through to find the right thing there. But I think that would be a fun show. I would participate in it. Definitely. Let's get some hands. Grateful, and then Ragu. What's up, Ragu? Let's go Grateful first, and then Ragu.
Yo, yeah. I've kind of got. Well, I guess this is kind of a question geared toward Sheesh. So sorry, Ragu, but answer before or after Ragu. I don't know, but so that was one of like the hardest things for me because it was the integration and the actual end user and adoption push to see if this is going to be something that is like viable and realistic when I first started learning about blockchain. Because I the first blockchain book I got was like 7 years ago, and I'm like, man, this is like going to revolutionize the world, but is it really? So I guess when you look at how society as a whole and countries and people as a whole operate with what they spend their time on and what they spend their time learning on, the average person, not to say that we're like all above average here or below average or whatever, but just to see how things, transfer through society and how society accepts or doesn't accept things. Do you think that there's a big enough opportunity to involve enough people that actually want to dedicate the time and knowledge to where that integration and adoption doesn't fully get pushed and snuck into our lives, I guess, so to speak, by governments and, the powers that currently run the world? Because no matter how much they want to say it's a joke, man, their eyes are laser focused on everything going on in this industry, especially on the financial side. But to me, the opportunity that gets created from all these builders and everybody that do spend so much of their time in their life dedicated to this space, the people that are here is still so small and minuscule compared to the global population that I don't see, I don't want to say it's a pipe dream. I want everybody to have the same fight, the decentralized fight, the people to take the power back. But is that more of like a pipe dream for you? Or do you think realistically, no matter what, the integration and end user adoption is going to play out on the back end without people knowing? Or do you think it's possible for there to be a larger shift and more of a collective consciousness with society?
Well, there were 55 founding fathers that like came together to start the revolution for America. And like I'm sure that people were like, yo, this is crazy, like that, what I mean? Like this ain't gonna be the way forward. And they're like, no, man, like we can govern ourselves, like we need to take control and like we can create economy and we can do our own thing, manufacturing. People got together and they all got on board. I mean, it's just we have to continue doing what we're doing, you know what I mean? Like continue to be out here, even when it's hard. I mean, everybody's here in the bull, you know what I mean? Look around, who's here in the build. You know what I'm saying? These are the founding fathers and mothers of whatever this thing we're going to call wherever it is that we're going. Like we're going to build it, right? Because the technology is going to take over. You see it right now. And you go to any sporting event, there's no cash, right? Like they're talking about banks being cashless banks. Like where are we going to go if we only have a digital currency, but to a system that supports digital currency?
I think, and I'm gonna answer this in as broad strokes as possible because I feel like that's the only way I'm gonna get the idea out. I'm kind of utopian in my thesis, but realistic in my approach. So, in order for society to achieve the next level, right, where the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse go off into dust and non-existence, we have to achieve certain things. These certain things are extremely difficult any realist, any pragmatist will look at you and say this is the stupidest idea on the planet. But the world was changed by a human being who had a dream about alternating current, and look where we are now. You know, there are specific tenets that we need to acquire as society in order to evolve past or pestilence and all these things that are just going to keep us here on this planet. You know, the difference between becoming like a local organism and just like gaining the ability to fly and go airborne is a whole system of very strict guidelines in order for us to stay in the sky. We're basically building an airplane and trying to take off. There's a complex layer of systems, and if the rules aren't followed, the ship breaks down and it's gonna crash, right? Which is a lot of what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of volatility, publicly traded assets, things that came from the stock market, currency as a whole. The ideas won't ever change, like to the point where they're you don't see them anymore. But they are gonna become better versions of themselves, and it's going to be a constant evolution, and then there's going to be a regression, right? So we might be going through the regression right now. That shitcoin season top of the bull run might have brought us back a whole 2 big ass steps. That's a part of natural growth. It's all what we do now and stay focused on now that enables us to be able to break all-time high of the system. And I'm not just talking about from a financial perspective. I'm talking about as like as a function of humanity. When we get to that point where we have to pivot and make an idea that creates a better version of the ones that existed, or we continue to do the same, will determine whether we go ascend or descend. I think I got it out.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic point of view there, Sheesh. I think, you know, the whole 2 steps back, 1 step forward, or 1 step back, 2 steps forward, or however it ends up being, right? Because I think there are times where we do take 2 steps back. I think, you know, with what happened with FTX, with Celsius, you know, when we start to see the collapse, that was a maybe more than 2 steps back. But, you know, since then we've started to take some steps forward. I think, you know, the depending on how this whole XRP thing finally shakes out, you know, that could be our couple steps forward, right? We've seen it kind of create some more, you know, buzz and stuff in our ecosystem. We see that, you know, the price of XRP is up again a little bit today. Let's take a look at that really quick, just so that I'm not lying to you.
The government getting
now live today.
Yeah, it's up like another 5%.
The government getting better may not be the solution here. You know, the reason why the revolution was started is because the government got worse. And I think history has taught that to governments, and they've become a lot more, they've become a lot better at playing the longer game. So we have to play the longer game with them, because our government isn't ours. It belongs to foreign interests, belongs to domestic interests that have foreign interests. And it's not we the people by the people. We have an obligation to change our system to a system that functions once we're done playing the sandbox. Once we find what works enough to implement at scale a system that revolutionizes the way we vote and the way we use money and the way we create leaders. Once we get past that point, yeah, it'll all get better. But in order for us to get there, it has to get real shitty. People have to like get thrown out of their fucking.
Are we there? Are we there right now? Are we? Do you feel like we're starting to get to that point? Because it kind of seems like it. I mean, people are waking up. People are tired. People are sick and tired. I mean, you see this another billion, trillion, whatever going over Ukraine. Like, why the fuck do we keep spending the money? Yesterday, it was like another big lump payment going to them. What for? Like, people are waking up to this kind of stuff. Like, these people don't work for us. They don't have our interests in mind. We know that. The American government was bought and sold. Beasky.
Hunters got to get paid. Period.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like, no, we're not at that point yet, because we still have boogeymen that are being pointed to. It's not just about foreign interests or about quote unquote the government. Those are key terms that are thrown out there that people use, but really it's corporate interests. We're in a plutocracy now. We 100% live in a state where The people with the money are running the show. And until we wake up and realize that, and realize that's the thing that we have to try to combat, Apple Pay is the devil. Like, I love it. It's amazing. It makes my purchases so easy and carefree. But at the same time, they're chopping off 30% of everything I buy. So we've got to fight corporate interest. Until we start fighting that and stop fighting other things, we're lost.
Well, we have to take the Federal Reserve is proved. Well, I think what happened is crypto has put the Federal Reserve in check because we undermine the Federal Reserve System as a whole. And the thing is they're whipping out the whip, but in small increments. They're not going full lash, because if they went full lash, they would show themselves to the world. The face would be seen for what it is, and the world would turn on it in an instant. Because the thing about outliers in any statistical curve is if you're too much of an outlier, you will get destroyed by the whole. So if you are identified as something that is hostile to the general good of the population, you will get eaten alive. Okay?
Yeah, but the Federal Reserve is the government.
Well, no, but the thing is these are all entities that are, that are influencing each other.
No, but do you define the Federal Reserve as the government? It's a yes or a no.
A private company.
Right, exactly. It is not the government. That is big banks running things as if they're the government. That's my point.
Well, that's because paper money can only be created through debt. Like the whole system's already pitted against us. You know what I mean? And then, what is the Federal Reserve going to say? Like, hey, you can't create a currency out of nothing. And that's literally what they do every day. So like that they have no argument. So they can't stand up against us because now we have so much access to information that we can arm ourselves, right? So now they're just going to put us under heavy regulations and just continue to misinform and put out crazy ass stories, bro. Like this, like the child pedophilia and like this child sex ring is insanity. Like, and no one's like saying or doing anything about it. You have like media, like films that are like crushing it. No one says anything about it. We continue to be hoodwinked every day. When we talk about Web3 and defining it and what it is, it's like, this is what we're fighting against, right? Like, we're sharing real information to the best of our knowledge with each other in hopes to be able to create a tribe that can then flourish into a community that can then, begin to build its own industry so that we don't have to become dependent upon them. We can just work amongst ourselves.
They're never going to allow you to do that, though.
Well, I love it. They can't allow it.
That's the thing. Exactly. That will never be allowed. They will find a way to keep you down. And whether it's all right, you built your crypto empire. Well, guess what? Now crypto, you can't use it anywhere, and they can start to track. Okay, so you're trying to trade in your your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your whatever your favorite altcoin is for their digital shekels. Well, now that they realize that you've got crypto in the background and that you got to trade it in for the shekels in order to get your food, guess what? They shut you down completely. Now you got nothing.
Well,
now what do you do?
But then the argument's like,
that's it, man. That's like
all these.
They got you 6 ways from Sunday or whatever that expression is.
That's it, and that's why I love what everybody here is saying, for sure. And the fight is very real for me, but it's like I'm super optimistic and bullish, and I believe in this industry more than a lot of people that I know for the long term. But I'm also like an optimistic realist, and to me, if you're here in this space, you're here in this space, because. Like, you're here because you know what's up and what's going on. But in your day-to-day life, how many people do you talk to about this industry and about crypto and, the capacity that we haven't even begun to touch? And because, in my life, everybody that I talk to just thinks I'm fucking crazy, or they don't want to put in the effort to learn, or it's too complicated, so I guess my point is like how, and there will be organic things that bring people here, like gaming and the metaverse and all this other stuff, but really it is going to be 10 years is not a long time. Like, that's a short-term play. So how do we bring in enough onboarding to combat major governments and leading nations from front running this whole fucking thing?
To me, that's the gajillion-dollar question. And I don't know who's got the answer to it. I don't know if we'll have an answer for it for a while. And we'll get to
I have
it.
an answer.
What's your answer?
So, I'm trying to pin it to the nest, but I'm having difficulty. It requires education. So I'm trying to share this negotiation masterclass that teaches you how to fundamentally identify in very subliminal ways means to collaborate with other people. The thing about convincing somebody something is good for them is finding common ground. Identifying the attack points that are common and saying this is what we can use to defend ourselves against it, and creating a collaborative win-win situation, right? It's not me against you. It's not a zero-sum game. It's us versus them, right? So the best way to do that is to educate yourself on how to be a good negotiator. Like salesmen of the biggest corporations in the world will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just on learning this stuff to be better at their job. People who deal with wartime deals will take these and use these skills to be able to cut deals that create peace times. We have to use this to create our organization and make it organized. Right now, we're just uneducated, like chaos running through the layer of the internet that has just popped up. And what we need to do is make a multi-celled organism that functions more efficiently than the systems before it.
I agree with you, and I'm going to get more of these hands. But the one thing that we got to remember through all of this, and this isn't like a cautionary thing. And again, this I don't throw shade. I'm just everybody understands this. I would consider everybody that's in this room, and especially if you're up here speaking, because it is very apparent that you are eloquent, that you are able to communicate clearly, that you are able to navigate a discussion. And what I can also tell you is that there is a higher percentage of people on this planet that cannot do that. They don't have that intellect. They don't have the same intelligence level as majority of us. And if you've been to some places in the world, you will understand that. If you've been to some places here in the United States, you will understand that. So the challenge for us in this education and how we have to bring it about is we literally have to, we probably have to reprogram ourselves to come down to a level where we have to explain it like we're 5. And I think that will ultimately maybe get the message across. And I love the whole idea it's us against them, because at this point, that's how it's shaking out. That's how it's literally showing us, when you say like they haven't played their cards. No, but I think that they're kind of, showing them a little bit. So really, again, we have to find the way to bring this messaging across, and we got to dumb it down. We just have to, because the majority of the planet, the majority of the people that walk among us are not of the same intellect level, is specifically of the people in this group. And you guys know that. And if you've ever had an encounter with some people of a different intellect level, you understand what I'm saying. And I don't know between American, Beaskeet, and Sheesh, and Ragu, who is next. So I'm just going to go from left to right. American, you go first. And then we'll go Beaskeet, Ragu, and then Sheesh. Americano, Crypto Academy. Sheesh. All right, Beaskeet, you're up.
Let me jump. Jay, what you're saying right there is actually like straight to the point I really wanted to make, which is like this morning, for example, I sold an NFT for a wrapped ETH offer. I know, embarrassing, paper hands. I then had to transmit that into ETH, and then I had to send that ETH to a decentralized exchange and convert it to XRP. Now, seems like a simple thing because we've all been doing this for so long, but you think the average American consumer is going to unwrap Ethereum and then spend that like 10 minutes where I had to sit there and wait for it to get to the decentralized exchange? And I'm like, should I check Etherscan and make sure that went through? Do I need to check the wallet address again, even though I already sent it? And there's no point, because if I did it wrong, it's gone. Like, the average consumer is not going to want to spend that kind of educational time and deal with those kind of problems. The reason I say it will be centralized isn't because centralized is better. It's because centralized can dumb it down for people. That's exactly the thing it can do. So it's going to be centralized because your grandmother is not going to want to stress over whether or not the coin she sent gets to the place she sent it. She wants it to get there regardless.
Yeah. Did grandma get the right contract address, or did she get the scam contract address? You know, you're right.
Exactly, 100%. That just is not.
There will be the decentralized. There will be the decentralized offerings for the people who have the advanced. It's like when you go into a website, you want to go to the advanced settings. Great, that's what the decentralized world is going to be for. But the centralized blockchain applications and entities and platforms are going to win the day because, like what you just said, people, whether they care, whether they're too lazy, whether they don't have the brain for it, or the will, or the desire, that's going to be because it's easy, and people will always.
So part of our energy needs to go towards making sure that's the outcome. Yes, it's going to be centralized. Part of what we need to be fighting for isn't decentralization, but decentralization for those who want it. Like, we need to be taking a stand for, go ahead and make your shit work like smooth as silk and on Apple Pay. But if I want to send my wallet to your wallet directly, I need to be able to do that. That's what we need to be fighting for.
Absolutely. And the fact that is Elizabeth Warren is the one that wants to outlaw private crypto wallets, right? Like those illegal.
And that shit makes no sense to me. This is a woman who has built her career on fighting big banks, and she's literally doing the bully work for the big banks. I'm so fucking confused.
She's a psyop, dude.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that.
They're
at
all
all.
psyops.
They're all a big psyop. Yes, exactly.
They're all psyops. Every single one of them, and every one of them, even the ones you love. Damn it, like they're like, this shit's so crazy because everything's recorded, but no one goes like, it's like we just like blow past things. We get no answer. Oh, I never got some hands. I'm sorry, Jay.
No, it's all good, man. It's definitely all good. Let's see. American Crypto Academy has rugs, so I will never find out what he was going to say. But that takes us to Ragu. What you got for us, fam?
Yeah, I was gonna say to an earlier point. Yeah, I don't really tell a lot of people outside of just my Twitter spaces that I go into, like about blockchain technology, about Web3, or I just think that it's like this, like a known thing because it's so new, and if you dig it, you're with it. If you don't dig it, you're not with it. But I will say that like these collective clicks in these Twitter spaces are making direction towards something that I think isn't going to be able to take over like a national government. Something like that has to take like a lot of power and a lot of like jurisdiction, because you're talking about the treasury, especially if you live in America, right? So like if one thing backs the other, I'm not gonna say that like the treasury is gonna value that Bitcoin at $1. If that same Bitcoin is still worth a very pricey penny. I don't know. That's kind of where I was going with your thought about that, actually.
I like it. I'm gonna really quick finishing up. I'm tagging you on regular. Just I'm tagging you on something. You just won the. Actually, I don't even know why I didn't follow you back yesterday, but I'm following you back. You got the quote of the day from the show. If you dig it, you're with it. If you don't dig it, you're not with it. Loved it.
I appreciate it. Yo, can I plug my thing real quick?
Your song?
Yeah, my song. I'm gonna send you a link for the song because I don't have a speaker on me right now, but I'll do it in the comment section. And guys, I'm a singer, and I am in this contest for suicide prevention. It's really important to me. All the votes matter for me. I'm just in the top 20 rounds right now. But if you can like follow me and like stay tuned to it and keep the votes going, it'll help so much. But I'm gonna link this song. It's my current single right now. It's in the comments. Yesterday Jay Chains was wanting to wait until Nessie finished his album, But if you have some time to play it, it's a great song.
Well, it's as it turns out, it is 11:33, and so that means it is the perfect time for our next workout. So I got this thing. Let's see. I got the tweet. Let me pull. There it is. Could you guys hear that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right, so then I got the thing locked and ready to go. Jeepers. So we're going to do our last workout of the day, guys. If you're just tuning in, this is Web3 Breakfast, and every 30 minutes we pause the conversation, we play a track,
Dude.
and we get a little workout. And so that's.
I'm gonna do some diamond push-ups for this.
There you go. Obviously, Sapphire just joined the building. Perfect timing, Sapphire. It's time to get that 30.
Gang, getting these arms in today.
There we go. There we go. It's a don't skip arm day. You gotta have them guns for that. Well, we like to say curls for the girls. What do the ladies say?
I just say this is how you get the best fibers in the world. You just get them arm muscles going.
There you go. There you go. All right. So this is go ahead. Somebody want to say something?
I thought girls said butts for the mud.
It was what?
So I thought the girls said butts for the mud.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Butts for the mutts. Calling us dogs, huh? All men are dogs. Oh. Here we go. Time to get that workout in. We'll be back.
Go sit up. I don't forget, Jay. Go, y'all. Come on, it's the Web3 Breakfast workout. Let's get to it, guys. Healthy mind, bodies, portfolios.
Oh yeah, dude, I like that. There is still some more song in that song. So guys, make sure that you check that song from Ragu out. The name of that track is By My Side. Man, that was pretty cool. I like that. Thank you for
Dude, that was a dope ass vibe.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it, guys.
I did 300 sit-ups right there. I was just in the zone. I don't know, man. I wouldn't count the max, but I was just like, I was doing sit-ups like out in Egypt. Where there was the pyramids. We had like this dope suite. We were just getting ready to go on the beach and play some beach volleyball. Cause I'm like really good, man. So I gotta get super yoked because we have our field day. That's like I'm super excited for that.
Are we gonna have a sand volleyball pit for the Web3 Breakfast field day games?
Got to. Hell yeah, bro. Like definitely. Like going out and playing sand volleyball. Like it was the messiest thing, dude. I have sand still in every like hidden crevice of my body.
That's
like
why I don't like
in
the
like my
beach.
little ears.
That's why I don't like going to the
No,
beach, man. The sand sucks.
But when you dive and you get like a killer save and like everybody's going, that's your first day, you're just meeting these people and you're out there putting on a show like you just won the gold medal at the Olympics. Bro, that shit was dope. Dude, it was worth getting sand everywhere. Like my car is effed right now. Like there is sand everywhere.
To me,
it was fun though.
There are two things in this planet that I put on the same level, and it is just things that shouldn't be a thing. It's glitter and sand, and they get places where they don't need to be. Impossible to get rid of. It's just a no-go for me. And knowing that I've got a daughter, I know that I've got a lifelong of. I've got several years of glitter in my future, and that makes me not depressed because I don't get depressed. It makes me anxious. Maybe I hope
Well,
that I just hope that she doesn't like glitter. She's like, nah, this stuff is gross. Like, yes, baby. Yes, baby.
Just get her the bigger sequins kind. Like if you get her hooked on that earlier, and then you can maybe bypass the little tiny annoying glitter.
Sapphire, thank you. Yes, sequence. It's about sequence in this house, not glitter.
That is a pro tip for sure. You know, when we were in Iraq, they used to send us those care packages. Like we would get a lot of care packages, and for some reason there was this one like church, and they always sent us silly string and glitter and like coloring books and shit. It was nuts, right? So we would do two things, right? So like in the evening, while we would be up all night drinking and partying on base before we went out the next day, we would take the silly string cans and handfuls of glitter, and you would take your Gerber and you would pinch the little nozzle where the silly string comes out, and you pull that off and you throw it in the room with a handful of glitter, and the bottle spins around like crazy, just shooting silly string everywhere, and their room is just full of glitter.
Oh man,
amazing, bro. Amazing.
It's like those.
Thank you for that.
I love the like the guy that gets back at the porch pirates and then sends them like those glitter bombs that just like totally explode in their car or whatever. Like that to me is okay. We want to talk about great applications of glitter. Those people deserve everything they get with glitter. Porch pirates.
I'm wondering if you
What's that, Sapphire?
You don't have a horror story back in your single bachelor days. You didn't go to like the wrong strip club and get caught with glitter in the wrong places. Is that where this comes from? This hate of glitter?
Moving on. We got a couple of hands in the crowd here. Sheesh.
Yeah, we do got some hands. Thank you all for choosing Web3 Breakfast. I'm Turbo Man. I'm going to J Chain and the whole community. Hey, Sheesh, go ahead.
Turbo, you did make it. You made it, bro. Now you could just call yourself Turbo.
Hey.
I love you guys. So you guys are talking about before how to get to the normies, right? And I think I found a lot of success driving Lyft for a little while. I drove Lyft for a couple months, just to see if it was like a good fit. And yeah, it worked. It was all right. But the best part about it is I was able to really turn the minds of people away from the talking points that mainstream media has plugged into their brains regarding crypto. The thing about fear mongering is, when you invoke someone's fear of something, you can put a talking point there, and now every time that person gets faced with that fear, they have that talking point as a defense mechanism. And you have to identify it as such. So when I hear the same talking points, I literally just point out the parts of the system that they participate in that are shittier versions of what Web3 has to offer. So when we start talking about how they're paying for the Lyft ride, how they're paying for their food items, I said, you think the U.S. dollar isn't doing the same thing Bitcoin is doing? One could say that the dollar is more volatile and actually has more influence over these markets at certain points in their trajectory. And the whole entire stock market, like, you like stocks? Oh yeah. Well, okay, well, you can't see the liquidity pools. You can't see who's holding them. You can, unless you have like access to dark pool data, or you're paying $3,500 a month for NASDAQ level 3. What if I told you could see everything of what a corporation is holding, or what somebody who's holding 10% of this, you could see it for free online and know the math of people holding these things, so that way you know where your potential downside risk is. And it starts to change their mind, because they realize how much of the system that they're participating in is hidden from them, and they don't even realize it. And then they're installed talking points in their heads as defense mechanism, so that way they don't ever break through that wall themselves. It needs to just be broken by somebody else, and then they'll just go by themselves into that new room like, oh shit, why the hell was I so scared of this? You know, so I think like what we have to do is make our own set of talking points and use the same tools that mainstream media uses to attack us.
Hey, trust me, I'm right there with you. I think, and it's even simpler. And I love the idea, Sheesh, by the way, that utilizing an opportunity or a platform like Lyft or Uber to chat with as many people as you can. I think it's really incumbent upon all of us that are in this ecosystem and industry to do our own part, to do our job, and that is to spread the gospel, spread the word about what we're doing here and why this ecosystem is so important. But it really, honestly, it just starts with one person. If everybody in this room got one person into this ecosystem, it would double immediately, right? And you guys understand the network effect, right? So then now they go, once they're comfortable, then they tell somebody, and that's how this is all going to work. But literally, if everybody in crypto, everybody in blockchain, everybody in NFTs, everybody that gives a shit about this ecosystem got one person in here, one person, our entire ecosystem would double overnight. That doesn't seem like a very hard thing to do. We don't have to tell 10,000 people. Each person doesn't need to get 10,000 people in here. Each person should just focus on getting one person in this ecosystem. Create. What you got for us?
Yeah, I love what I'm hearing. To kind of piggyback off of what you were just saying, Jay Chains. When I first got into crypto, one of the things I did was I created a private Facebook page and invited as many friends that would join to it, and just created conversation, and sheesh, yeah, like nail on the head with that, with everything you said, and to go off of what somebody said earlier, that I love like decentralization, but the thing is like, there's always going to be that centralized aspect. For instance, like, I love decentralization by code, right? Like, it's, trustless systems that, like, that's what's so cool about blockchain technology, is that, you can take away any middleman that you would need. One thing that I'm excited about, so we use a protocol called UPAP. It stands for Universal Polymorphic Address Protocol, and it actually allows all the blockchains to communicate with each other. So, for instance, on Create, if you're, like a ETH maxi, I could instantly buy it with Bitcoin. So there's, different things that will be coming out shortly that really give you that option of like, do I want to go the decentralized route, or do I want to go to the centralized route, which would be like using Coinbase as like a onboarding hub. But also there'll always be like regulation and laws that are going to be centralized, especially in the US. But as far as like code, when you talk about like UPAP, that's all trustless, decentralized. Like, if you do something, it's gonna work, because that's what the smart contracts and codes are designed to do. So.
Oh.
Damn.
Real quick, Jay.
Brain just melted.
Go for it.
I gotta head out because I gotta go to work. But thank you for having this space this morning, guys. You guys have a great day.
Hey, man, I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back and being here. That goes for everybody, man. This is a show for I love that this is a show for the community, by the community. Thanks for popping here yesterday and chatting with us, and we got a chance to play your track today, which I really enjoyed. I'm looking forward to playing the rest of it and listening to someone else you're doing. So I appreciate you being here, man. Thanks everybody for being here. We got a couple announcements to make before we start wrapping it up for the day. I do see my friend and all of our friends, Nessie, in the building. It's a big day for him, guys. I did post up into the nest a little bit ago. You can let's see, Beastkeep got one up in there, and then it's right next to that one. Open Minds going live today. 2 p.m. Eastern is the beginning of the space. 3 p.m. if you are a Gorilla Gang pass holder like myself and a couple of others here, we get our first opportunity there to mint that, and then it goes to the Minds list an hour later, and then is it open to the public after that, I believe, at 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys tap in with that show. Big day. You know, we had I'll tell you what, when I say we had a fun time yesterday getting through the album, learning, you know, kind of the backstory of some of these tracks and the thought process that went into Nessie's making them. I'll tell you what, that was a special day for me. So again, you know, I know we did that yesterday, but Nessie, thank you for doing that with us yesterday. Best of luck to you today. I hope that you have an immediate mint out. You know, obviously when we get to the public mint, if there are still some left, you know, some people get an opportunity like Beastkeep and myself to make sure that we get one of every single track, because I want a full album. I definitely do, and I know he does too.
I don't dust off my e-wallet often, but I am going to be scraping everything I can, bro, because you are a real one, bro. It's not just your name, bro. You've proven it through time, and you know, I always look for Freudian slips, and bro, there is nothing in you that has malintent for anything in this space, bro. I wish you the best on your mint out, bro.
Let's get it.
And Jay, I had a question. Oh, actually, first for Sheesh, whenever you come to Nashville, man, definitely let me know. We're definitely linking up, bro. I know you said you were going to be coming through here, so definitely let me know on that. And speaking of Nashville and link ups, I did go back, Jay, to read through that Wounded Warrior Project run.
Mm-hmm.
And you can carry a flag, you can carry a weighted beanbag, or you can carry another person.
Ooh.
Just so you know, yeah,
So I assume we're running side by side.
person?
We're running side by side carrying flags, right?
Well, okay, so I'm gonna find someone to carry, just because. I mean, because when you look at, because listen, look, you can carry a flag and they just call that flag. You can carry a weighted bag and they call that fitness. But when you carry a person, they call that fierce. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking of this. I was thinking that we could take a lawn chair and we could put straps on it, and then like a seat belt, and then you can sit in the lawn chair, and I'll put it on my shoulders like a rucksack, and then I'll just run with you, and you just sit in the lawn chair. That way you don't have to worry about being uncomfortable.
That's so Floridian. That sounds like it's something you'll see. You know, you ever see the people from Florida that turn their love seats into cars and ride down the street?
Sapphire, I don't know if you were in the show. I think it was yesterday when we started talking about this, but I agreed without understanding kind of the whole story. Turbo's going to be running a 5K or a 10K. Is it 5K or 10? That's
5.
A 5K. Okay, a 5K. A Wounded Warrior thing, and he had asked me to do it with him, and I said, absolutely, brother, I would absolutely do that with you. And then I learned on the show that he was going to be carrying me, you know, across his shoulders or across his back. And at that point, I backed out immediately, saying, no, this is clearly not a thing. I'm way too grown of a man to do anything like that. Now, if I was unconscious in the battle, or if I had gotten beat up and we needed to get out of where we were, Turbo, absolutely, I would love for you to scoop me up and run to safety. But a 5K just
But
doesn't...
Jay, aren't you... Jay, you were the first one to talk about do your own research, right? Now, I could tell you that I could carry you out. You could look at me and be like, he maybe could carry me out. But when I run with you for 5K, for fun, you know what I'm saying? You know without a doubt, bro. You know what I'm saying? That I got you.
I have a suggestion that would make it.
You always got great suggestions, Sapphire. She's got great suggestions. Please go.
And I think this will win you over, Jay Chains. To make you more comfortable, you all can pretend to be Luke Skywalker and Yoda, and you just dress up and you get on his back, and then it'll make you feel a lot better. It becomes cosplay and not some weird, close, intimate encounter.
I've got some horrible, horrible news for you, Sapphire. Turbo and myself have never seen Star Wars, so that wouldn't do it either.
I don't think I can. I can't be here anymore.
Okay, well, we'll see you later. You know, like, and Sapphire, if you would know.
Oh, she's serious. She's serious. No, she's serious. She dropped it. She left. Oh, wow.
Well,
Sapphire, come back.
I understand. You know, but I wish I was able to explain to her the reason why we've never seen it. You know what I'm saying? Is because we passed, universe or well, dimensions. There we go. We crossed into another dimension where our timeline didn't merge with Star Wars, and so now we're just hearing about it. So I hope that clears things up a little bit.
Yeah, and she's back. Thank goodness. My God, I thought we had lost her.
Actually, I kicked her out.
Oh, you did?
She said she wanted to leave, so I did.
Oh.
No, that'd be dope, though. I wish I had them kind of cool. Hell no, I do.
Oh, look at that title now.
Oh, yeah, she's been really
trying to make it up.
Congratulations.
Don't go. We're sorry. We'll watch Star Wars right after the show. Dang it.
Yeah, like there, look, because we get attacked regularly for this actually, so it might be something that we need to do, Jay, just to kind of combat some of that.
Kind of hijack the hero story, and like you can't ever use lightsabers for anything else. It's like this is like it's a light sword for Christ's sake. Like you kind of just like took all the best stories ever in history and just made one giant story, and now you own the IP on it, and we can't even touch it.
That's why it's so brilliant. It's time out. How about this, Turbo? You stream randomly at some point, and we can watch it together. I want to see your reactions. I want to see you enjoy it for the first time. So maybe we can stream it live and watch you watch it.
Can we do something like this?
Okay.
Can we like just rent out a movie theater and just play like our own lineup of movies for reactions? Because I know there's a couple that we're supposed to do. Because Turbo and I probably you've probably seen less movies than me, but I by no means am a movie buff at all.
Popping Star Wars cherry an OnlyFans idea that could be revolutionary. Just asking.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, bro. I had this idea, so I'm not going to share on the show just because it might not be a good look. So I'm not going to go there right now. I was almost there. Thank goodness I passed on that other joint because I would have went there and I would have regretted it. So I'm gonna just get out of this conversation now. Mute my mic because I'm not going.
I am the movie buff of the three of us, thank the Lord. I've seen Star Wars a million times, and both of my children are named after Star Wars characters. I don't know how I wound up with the two non-movie watching sons of like it's mind-boggling the people in the space. But then like when you like find your people, you realize your people are not exactly the same. Because it's like I play video games like crazy. I watch movies like crazy. These two, none of that. It's like that's they stop it. They stop it right there. They're like,
yeah, we definitely got to get back on our playing video games because when me and Seth put video games together, it's just me talking shit about how bad he's doing, but I'm in last place. Like, it is so much fun. He's such a good sport about it. And, I remembered, Sapphire, you over there in the co-host seat. Jay, I've been thinking about this, right? You know how they have The Bachelor or The Bachelorette? Like, we should do that with, like, co-hosts. You know, let them come in and then, like, we give out, like, a microphone. Like, you know, hey, like, we want you to come back for, you know, our next week. And, like, we let the people vote, and then they can vote for who the other co-host is.
Oh, you had me excited for a minute. Think you about to help me find a man. You out here talking about some damn coke. Yeah.
Here's the Sapphire. I'm a space host. I'm not a miracle worker. Okay. I'm trying to find my own person. I'm the ruggler. I'm the worst.
He runs you so fast. He was like, I got this great idea.
What's up, boys and girls?
Yo, Zima, what's up, fam?
Zima said, speaking of getting Sapphire off the blockchain.
Well, first of all, I see Sapphire as the co-host. I guess Turbo got fired again.
Yes, he did. Now he was having connection issues today, and bringing him up as the co-host after like the fourth or fifth time became too much of a distraction. So Sapphire got the job.
Oh, automatic promotion. But I have to tell you, since yesterday, I have been feeling bad for Seven. Because I feel like you have him locked up in like some basement and saying, you must press these emojis all day.
Yes. Yeah. And
make music, press
Zima, that's a really good observation. And let me just tell everybody else in the crowd, if you don't follow suit, you soon will also be locked up in the basement, forced to emoji press. So you could do it on your own very easily. Yeah. Just
What's shop style?
But it's not torture though. He's in a cage, but he's just using a giant feather and tickling him.
Think of it like a Twitter's version of Stepmania that's coming down the screen. If I don't push the right ones, it's another day in jail.
I'm feeling bad for him. I'm like I imagine like Jay Chance like pushing a little bowl of cereal, you know, under the cage.
No. It's more like it's real dark down here, and all I have is the phone light, and every now and then there's like a nightstick across some bars. And then I there's like a piece of bread on it.
And so, literally, you talk about the bowl of cereal. What we do is we keep like a big vat, like a 55-gallon drum filled up with Cheerios, but there's no lid. So pretty much like the top couple inches is completely stale, and then we've got like this leaky pipe that drips. It's like a constant drip of water, but it's like so that's what
sure,
because there's no milk in the dungeon. You gotta use
it has to be soggy.
Yeah.
It has to be soggy.
It's consistent. It's a consistent drip to where the top layer they just cut it into pieces. They give me chunks of it.
Yeah. It's like Cheerio pie. We call it Cheerio pie. We say we knock on the cage with a nightstick and say, "Hey man, you looking for another piece of Cheerio pie?" And he says, "Get out of here." And that's all right, man.
Web3 breakfast will do anything.
I don't work out during the workouts for that reason because my body's too frail, guys.
Because when I go to the cage and I run the nightstick over, I say Cheerio, and then I just give him like the Cheerio cake. And
every time he comes, so Jay hits me with the nightstick, but every time Turbo comes down here, he plays that jingle, the one I like so much, because then I know I'm getting Cheerio cake.
Jesus. I'm the nice one. Every now and then, when they're not looking, I sneak him some Vienna sausages.
Luxury!
Oh my
luxury.
God! Fucking Vienna sausages.
You guys are
oh my God!
Dude, no. What are you talking about? Throw those suckers in some.
Disgusting.
What's that stuff called? The dough? Some pigs in a blanket. Really quick, because we do have to go because here's the deal. It is noon, and we've got Nikki from Ethereal and Alt Mom. They started their series yesterday, and so the show goes live at noon. I have posted it up into the nest, so you can see it. It is the second one that I posted, so the third from the left, if I said that correctly. So you can find that link. So their show is started. So if you guys want to hop on over there, please feel free. I am going to go downstairs, grab a quick bite to eat and some more liquids, and then I will join. But make sure that you guys check that out. The series that they are doing sounds really cool. 6 Impossible Things after breakfast, I think is what it's called, because it's after Web3 breakfast. So go check that out, guys. That's going to do it for today. What a wonderful show. I think that we definitely, to be perfectly honest with you, need to do a follow-up episode to this, because while we all gave up our idea, a lot of us gave up our ideas of what Web3 is, we barely scratched the surface. So we will definitely be back with another one of these episodes. So do something cool today. Have fun.
And by the way, I want my 2 cents on the Web3 definition. So.
All right. Tomorrow we've got Unstoppable Domains, and it is a pizza party. Let's queue this up for Monday. Let me check the schedule and make sure we got no guests. But we can queue this back up for Monday. That's a great conversation for a Monday because typically they go off the rails. So we'll have a lot of fun with this. So guys, do something fun today. It is Thursday. Maybe go out and get yourself something to drink. It is Thirsty Thursdays if you do drink. If not, go get a coffee. That's cool, or a sparkling water, whatever floats your boat. Or do those push-ups.
Yay!
Just don't hug it all to yourself. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow for more Web3 breakfast.
Love you.
Love you all.
We love y'all.
Bye, guys.